for transporting. They are mainly transported by sea, and in the event that they fall overboard, that it is protected, so it would not go wet. And in this case, these was thrown overboard, and you can see that the substance is still dry in its original state. Alright, so it's just a form of protection, and you have a plastic layer, and then you also have a rubbery layer, which is ultimately waterproof. Alright. Generally, you would find South American cocaine. They are transported by air or by guffaws, salient across the waters, and especially if it's transported by air, they are dumped from the air in the sea, and so they must be protected. And then they could be picked up by boat and then loaded onto the vessel and then transported to the recipient wherever it may roam. Alright.
Do you have any idea where the source was? Or the intended the destination?
For this cocaine, it came out of St. Lucia, and it was destined for BVI. However, I would not try and name the source country, as I am not certain, but we know the South American countries are big producers. Colombia and they come across to Venezuela. So this instance I can't say because I don't have evidence, but I have no doubt that it would have come from those South American countries, because the countries in the Caribbean, especially the Eastern Caribbean, we don't produce cocaine. We do what we call an exchange for marijuana for cocaine. And this possibly could have been one of those ventures. But like I said, this cocaine was loaded off St. Lucia. Alright?
Okay. What's the penalty if you get caught in this kind of activity?
Well, the penalty for this, we charge for possession of cocaine with intent to supply, and we charge for importation because it was found in our waters, and that should be within 12 nautical miles offshore, and it was found within 5 miles. The penalty for importation is 10 years or 3 times the street value. So in this case, the street value for this was over 11 million EC dollars. So you could either get 10 years or 3 times, which would be $33 million. Alright?
Is this the first exercise of getting rid of cocaine for the year?
Yes. Of this quantity.
This quantity?
Yeah. We have been seizing small amounts, and generally in our region, they turn the cocaine into crack, which is a process. Alright, so this is the first large seizure, and in my time, the 9 years that I'm head of drug squad, this is the largest that I have seized in cocaine.
This that you're about to destroy, this is the entire haul from the vessel that you caught recently, or are there additional cocaine that you have recovered for the year?
No, this is, like I said, the general haul. All of what the 120 kilo blocks, This is it right here.
Okay.
He had a weight of 134.108 kilos. Alright, but this is all of it here. But we have destroyed before, and it was small quantities, just in grams, less than a kilo.
Okay, that's for our young children. How could this affect you if you take this? What are the symptoms? What will be the effects?
And the effects of cocaine, you don't want to go down the road for children. It includes a lot of chemicals to make the cocaine. And the usage of this by children or any person otherwise would have adverse effects. And later down the road, you would find lots of changes in facial appearance, the lungs, of course, and it affects the brain tremendously because of all the contents that is used to make the cocaine.
So why is it so popular?
Well, I guess in my mind, I can't say exactly why it's so popular, but for what the people who are consuming it, for what they're looking for, the particular high, and they get that high from this cocaine. And it only takes a sniff of this cocaine to get you to a particular high. And persons are adventurous. They want to try things. They want to get in a certain mode, and of such they utilize cocaine because it's a fast-acting agent to the body and to the brain. So you got people who would utilize the cocaine to even commit crime, because we would know from science that cocaine is once used, or probably still used in the wider region as an anesthetic, just like we have morphine.
Okay.
And some countries use cocaine for that purpose, whether it is liquid cocaine, because cocaine here is in its hydrochloride form, which is the powder form, can be turned into liquid, and it would be a transparent liquid that can put into bottles and you would not notice. So people would use that for anesthesia. Alright? In this country we use morphine, so it's no use for us.
So the end result is death?
Death, definitely. Use cocaine and eventually the long-lasting effect is death or not a proper human. Because if you have looked at photos and so on, you would recognize that the effect of people showing a before and after picture and the result of cocaine.
Okay.
And this too is coupled with other synthetic drugs such as amphetamines and LSDs and so on, but it's not very popular around our region.
Thank you.
Retained just 2 packets of all the drugs that we have confiscated from the persons who brought them into our country. And these 2 packets, as you can see before us, they'll be used for training purposes in terms of our law enforcement bodies, the police, customs, and the defense force. So what you see is just 2 that will remain, and we will receive permission for these 2 packages to remain with us for training purposes. And over there at the burning site, the others are. So we just want to let the general public know that we are in keeping with all the necessary requirements that we have to do in order to ensure that we are keeping drugs out of our country and keeping our country safe. We know that there are many persons who might be thinking of many things, but you, the media, being here this morning is a clear demonstration that we are being transparent in whatever we are doing in terms of disposing of narcotic drugs that we would have seized or confiscated during our period of operations. These drugs will be used in many areas. We have for drug identification for recruits, even seasoned police officers, because 1 or 2 may just go to the drug unit and they might not have seen cocaine before. And we also have our canine unit, so it's also to keep our canines upbeat in terms of identification of cocaine. So we want to ensure that our officers, including the canine, are totally equipped with the necessary ways in which they can identify cocaine. We want to make sure that the sniffers are strong for that, and we want to make sure the officers, when they see it, and the packaging, of course, as it was explained earlier, that it can be easily identified. How it was packaged to ensure that it does not get destroyed. When an officer comes across it, you can be able to say it could be cocaine, and having tested it by our analyst, then we can know it is cocaine. But just as the way it is, one can safely say this is something for us to take into custody and carry out further investigation.
So the officers that worked here this morning are mainly from the drug squad? All?
Yes. Yes. And then you would have had myself and other officers from different departments to come and facilitate the burning of the drugs.
With this burning, how long will it last, and the location obviously would be out of harm's way?
Yes. How long it will last, I will let Sergeant Rogers answer that question.
Okay, let me explain first the method that we're using for burning. We have tires, and pallets are placed on the tires, and then the substance are placed on it. We would utilize diesel, which is spattered over the jugs and the pallets, and that would approximately take about 20 minutes to half an hour, the most, because the quantity, though it seems a lot, it's still not a lot for a long extended fire. All right.
Unlike marijuana, that takes the longest period of
Where there are less persons to consume or be affected by the smoke, and we take into consideration the wind direction, and we would adjust according to if the wind is changing us, and that's why we would have certain facilities such as fire extinguishers to get certain fire out from burning if we start to go in a different direction that we anticipated the smoke to go. Generally, we used to use the what we call the cannery dump, but since it's turned into a landfill, fire is not or cannot be carried out on the facility. So we have to find ulterior area to facilitate the burning.
Oh, that's 10 minutes to destroy a man well.